Last time we finished this one. So inshallah we'll start from التدريب الخامس عشر. التدريب الخامس عشر, which is 15th exercise. It says ما اسم هذا الضمير? What is the name of this? ضمير is pronoun. So finally the book is giving you all the dhamirs, every single dhamair. Dhamair is the plural of dhamir, which is the pronoun, every single one of them. And that's the way this book does. It gives you a little bit and a little bit, and eventually it will give you everything. So there's no rush, right? So finally you have every single one of them. And I mentioned to you that the standard, the unique, there are 12 pronouns in Arabic, but two of them are used twice. So that means we have total 14, but unique are 12. Because these two, as you can see, these two are being repeated. Okay, so if you don't count them, then we have 12 unique pronouns. So this one, this is one of the another page that you might want to print them out because it has all of them, and it also gives you the name for this dhamair. So it divides into three main categories, just like in English. Okay, you have the first person. In first person, it talks about the one who is speaking. And in Arabic, we say at-takallum. At-takallum is the one who's speaking. When we have this kind of verb, like taqaddama, 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 when we have this type of verb, same thing, we have takallama, takallama, takallama. You see, when you have this pattern, then to make it into a noun, because takallama means to speak, taqaddama is to proceed or to submit. So how do we make it into a noun from here? It's very simple. Just change this one into a dhamma. Okay, and we have a noun. So takallum, takaddum. That's what we have here. So takallum means, in this context, it means the first person, the one who is speaking. And we have two of them. Before I go all of them, so let me talk about all the major categories. So we have first person, and in English, we have second person. Second person is the one that you're speaking to. And in Arabic, we say khitab. Khitab is the one who is being addressed, addressee. Okay, so khitab. So that's what we call second person in Arabic. And then in English, we have third person, the one who is not present. We're referring to someone who is not present. Okay, so that's third person. And that's why in Arabic we say ghaiba. Ghaib, it means someone who's not present. That's why when we say ilmul ghaib, that means the knowledge that is not present. That means it's not here. We don't know about that knowledge. So ghaib, it means to be not present. It's pretty much opposite of hadara. Okay, hudur, the verb that we have, hadara, to be present. So these are the three main categories: first person, takallum; second person, khitab; third person, ghaib. So for each one of them, we have, of course, its own pronouns. Is that noun the masdar of the verb? Which one are you talking about? Takallum? Takallum, yes, this is the masdar. Yes, takallum is the masdar of takallama. And that's how you make it into masdar, verbal noun. When we have this kind of pattern, there's different ways for other patterns, but when we have this kind of pattern, for example, another verb we probably see it, ta'allama, ta'allama, ta'allama. See, they all have the same pattern. Ta'allama, takallama, taqaddama. These type of verbs, in order to make it a noun, the verbal noun, masdar, you just make the last haraka into, before the last haraka into a dhamma. So you say ta'allum. Ta'allama means to learn. Ta'allum is the learning. Okay, yes. So this is a verbal noun. So in the first person, we have two pronouns, ana and nahnu. Ana and nahnu. So of course we know them, I and we, just like in English. And they also have name. These names are not super important that you memorize them, but it's good to know how it's done. And it's fairly simple. It just, you have few words and then you make it into different permutations. For example, we have at-takallum al-mufrad. The word takallum we already have, the first person. Al-mufrad, mufrad means singular. Mufrad is singular. Okay? And which is the opposite of jam'un. Okay? Which is the plural. Uh, is this for Majid? Yes, so takallum is the Majid fihi, but not all of them will follow the same pattern. Okay? Not all verbs we can make into this way, the verbal noun. For example, we have qaddama, right? This is not the same thing as taqaddama, it's another verb. But how do you make the verbal noun from this verb? Do you say qaddum, just make it to the number? No, that's not how you do this. This one has a different form, which is taqdim. Taqdim. For example, allama is to teach. Ta'allama is to learn, allama is to teach. And you use ta'lim. Ta'lim. Okay, so this one has different ways of making, and for the other patterns we have other ways of making it. Okay, so so that's something that we will learn them inshallah in the soft class. Jayyid. So we have al-mutakallim al-mufrad. So this is first person singular. Al-mutakallim al-mufrad is the first person singular. Then we have jama'atul mutakallimin. So when we say nahnu, of course it's more than one. So it's not a singular, it's not mufrad anymore. So it's jama'a. Jama'a is a group. Okay, jama'atul mutakallimin is the first person plural. But direct translation or literal translation would be group of speakers. Mutakallimin is speakers, which is first person plural. Make sense? Al-Khitab. Khitab is the second person. So we have quite few of them in the second person. So first one is anta, which is you. Okay, you for masculine. Okay, so what is the name for this pronoun? Is al-mukhatab. Al-mukhatab. Okay, al-mukhatab is the be careful, you have to pronounce this fatha here. If you don't pronounce the fatha, you put kasra, it will mean the opposite. It will mean the one who is addressing, addresser. Okay, so this is a very unique things that we'll learn them again in the soft class. This one simple change, it makes different. So it should be mukhatab, the one who is being addressed. And as you can see, this is a singular. Mukhatab is a singular, and also it is what? It's masculine. There's no ta marbuta. And this is how you know that we're talking about second person singular masculine. As opposed to when we say anti, which is you, feminine, look what happens. Same thing, we just added ta marbuta just to make it into a singular feminine. So it would be mukhataba. Okay, al-mukhataba. Then we have antuma and antuma, both of them for the masculine and the feminine. Let me write you two, you dual for masculine, and this is for feminine. It doesn't matter because the pronoun is exactly same. As you can see, it's saying lil mudhakkar. Mudhakkar is masculine and muannath is feminine. So the first one, they're using it for the mudhakkar. You say al-muthanna al-mukhatab. Okay, so muthanna is the dual. Two addressee for lil mudhakkar for the masculine. Okay, al-muthanna. Then second one is al-muthanna al-mukhatab, the two addressee lil muannath. Okay, then we have antum. Antum is you for plural, and you know the plural is more than two, right? And then we have you, all right, you all. Antunna, so you have antunna is you all plural. Antum we use for plural masculine plus mixed. Okay, when the genders are mixed. Antunna is very exclusive for feminine. Okay, so if we have any single person that is not feminine, then we cannot use antunna. Okay, so we have to use antum at that time. Even if there's 10 women and one boy, we have to use antum. Antum is more broad and generic. If you don't know, if there's a male or female, if there's a mix or not, you will use antum. That's the general. Okay. Now, so for this one, we say jama'atul mukhatabin. What is mukhatabin? This is for mukhatabuna. Okay, this is the majrur state of mukhatabuna. This is sound plural. And we say lil dhukur. Why saying dhukur here? And here we're saying mudhakkar. Dhukur is it's a little bit more for the plural. Okay, for the kind. So masculine. Dhukur is dhakar is for singular. Dhukur is the plural. You understand? And then we have antunna. We say jama'atul mukhatabat. You see how they changed the gender here? That's why I was hoping that they would do the same here, but they haven't done it. So it is a group of mukhatabat. And this is from this is what? This is a plural of this word. And look, this one is a plural of mukhatab. Mukhatab, mukhatabun. And this one is the plural of this one. Okay, mukhataba, mukhatabat. I think we have done this one before, so you should understand what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this is also for the plural. Inath is a plural of feminine. Jayid. So again, I'm mentioning to you that these things are right now, it's not super important that you memorize, but it is extremely good that you get familiar with these words, especially takallum, khitab, mukhatab, okay, muannath, mudhakkar, dhukur, inas. So you should know these meanings and get used to them. And the last group we have al-ghaiba, which is the third person. In the third person, we also have a few pronouns. Namely, we have 5. There's a 6 of them because of one being repeated, which is huma. So huwa, we have huwa is he, right? Of course. And we say al-ghaib. Huwa for al-ghaib. Al-ghaib is the one who is absent for the masculine. As you can see, this is a masculine, singular masculine. And here is for she. They're using the same word ghaib, just adding tamarbuta to make it into feminine. Al-ghaiba. That's what I wanted. See what they did here. Huma ghaibani lil mudhakkar. Huma ghaibatani. That's what I was telling you that I wish they did this one here. But anyway, both of them is fine. You could have said mukhatabani, mukhatabatani here. Okay, for them. But that's fine. Because now just by looking at this word, you know the name. You know how many, the gender, the plurality, all of them. So here we don't need all of this thing as dhukur. We don't need dhukur because when we say ghaibin, this is for masculine. We already know, which is from ghaibuna. Okay, ghaibuna, and its majrur state is the kasra state is ghaibina. Nobody will be confused whether this is for feminine or not. We don't need to say all of that. We don't need to say all of this. We can say al-ghaibi. And for the feminine, we say ghaibat. Everybody who looks at this word, they know this is for feminine. Okay? Now, so whom is for they. By the way, huma is dual. They, two, dual, right? So you have masculine and you have feminine. They for masculine and they for feminine. Make sense? So these are all of your pronouns. Ana, nahnu, anta, anti, antuma, antuma, antum, antunna, huwa, hiya, huma, huma, hum, hunna. And I think some people in some books, they start from huwa. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. They go like this. It doesn't matter whichever you memorize, but the main thing is that you should memorize them and you should know them, and you should know that there are 12 unique pronouns, and we have 2 of them being repeated. So that means we have 14 possible situations. And main thing I want you to know this word takallum, the speaker, khitab. This word khitab will come a lot in Islamic science. You will see. And then we have ghaiba, which is from ghaib. Okay, so you should know these words. جيد. So any question? If not, please try to get as familiar as you can with these words and all of them, inshallah. Next, we have التدريب السادس عشر. So we have 16th exercise. We have الحوار. We have a حوار, a conversation. So we'll quickly read through them. Khalid says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Osama says, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So quick note. So Khalidun, this is your standard noun. It's Arabic name, right? We have Osama. So Osama, this is one of those mamnu' min as-saf. It is mamnu' min as-saf, meaning it will not take tanwin, the thing, the topic that we've been talking about. But remember what we mentioned last time. So one of the things we said, if the name is non-Arabic, then it becomes mamnu min as-sarf. But is Osama non-Arabic? Not necessarily. The reason this one it doesn't get tanwin, it becomes mamnu min as-sarf, because this name is a feminine name. The word is feminine, but doesn't mean that it refers to a feminine person. That's not what we're saying. We're saying the structure, the word itself is feminine because of tamarbuta. Okay, but Usama is not for feminine person. Usama is used for masculine. That doesn't matter. The word, so you have to be a little bit tricky. Just like we have Hamza. Okay, Hamza is Hamza. There's ta marbuta. This is in the Sahaba Hamza, but same situation will happen because the word itself is feminine word. We will be treating as mamnu min as-sarf, so it will not get a tanwin. You cannot say Usama tun. So what happens when you say that I went to Osama? Do you remember what happens? We say ila. Do we say we went to ila Usamati? Hmm? No, you cannot say ila Usamati. Yes, you have to say fatha because this is mamnu min as-sarf. Okay, so get used to these kind of things. Otherwise, if you're not getting used to them, you will always get confused. Now, the topic is broad. When we study Arabic grammar properly, inshallah, we'll say. I think we've covered them in Ajurumia class. We went through all of different scenarios, and we've had great detailed discussion about mamnu min as-sarf, this type of words. So Usama says, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And as you can see, he said assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and he added. So this is one of the things in our Islamic Sharia. This is something that it is actually wajib in a way, because this whole concept is also mentioned in the Quran, that you should either say the same, do the same, or more. You should not do less. So if somebody says assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, you can say wa alaikum assalam. That would be wrong. Okay, if he says assalamu alaikum, only this one, then you can say wa alaikum assalam. Then you can add rahmatullah, whatever you can. Okay, so this is something I'm pretty sure we already know. Then the Khalid says, Hal anta talibun jadidun fil mahad? Simple stuff. Are you a new student? Sifa, right? In the mahad, in the institution. And of course, we know every time we have a question with hal, this is a yes, no question. So the answer needs to be one of the yes or no. So Usama says, Na'am. Wa ant? First he answers his question, yes, I am a new student. Then he asks another question, Wa ant? And you? Then Khalid says, Ana talibun fil mustawa al mutawassit. I am a student in, we can say, the middle level or intermediate level. Okay, we can translate, depends on how many levels there are. Okay, so but wasat means, wasat we already had. Wasat means middle. Mutawassit, something that is in the middle. So he's definitely not a new student. And then Osama asks, Masmuk, okay, what is your name? Khalid answers, Khalidu Iqbal. So his name is Khalid Iqbal. And when last time we were talking about when we have this type of name, when we have two different names combined together, or one of the ways is that we do idafa. Okay, we do idafa. So this is idafa. Khalidu Iqbalin. So that's his name. Anyway, this is not super important. So his name is Khalid Iqbal, and Wa'ant, then he's asking the same thing. Then Usama answered, Usama Kamal. So this is his name is Usama Kamal, right? Then Khalid asked, Min aina ant ya Usama? Where are you? from Osama. These are very simple things. We have seen this a lot. Okay. Osama replies in Turkey. So he's from Turkey, meaning Turkey. Wa min aina ant? And where are you from? Khalid says, Ana min Pakistan. I'm from Pakistan. Okay, Pakistan. Osama asked, Aina, uh, it should be a sukun here. Aina ghurfatul amid. Where is the room of the dean, which is the dean's room? So he's using ghurfa here. He could have says maktab, the office. You see, so when we talk, we can use different words. People would understand. Where is the dean's room? Or he could have said Aina maktabul amid. Where is the office of the amid, the dean? Now, Khalid replied, he says, في الطابق الثالث, in the third floor. هل تريد مقابلته? Okay, so هل تريد, أراد, يريد, it means to want, right? Do you want? Remember, in English, when we say I want, what do we use? We say to meet. I want to meet him. Yes? We say I want to meet him. But we can also say I want, instead of saying to meet, because meet is a verb here, right? Meet, to meet is a verb, but I can also say it using a noun. I can say I want meeting him. Meeting him. I want meeting him. This is a noun. What we're doing, instead of using the verb meet, we're using the noun, the verbal noun of the verb. In this case, we don't use the to. So what happens, as you can see, the meeting becomes, of course, the object. I want, what do you want? You want to meet. So the meeting becomes the object. So same thing in English, in Arabic, we can say, hal turidu, do you want? An. See, same thing. I'm translating the first one. I want to meet him. Hal turidu an. What do you say? How do you say meeting? Remember the verb, we had it. I'm going a little bit outside of this topic, but anyway. Qabala. Qabala, that is the verb, to meet. What is the present tense? Yuqabilu. Qabala yuqabilu. To meet. So qabala is the past tense, yuqabilu is the present tense. And when you say, just like in English, we don't say met, we say meet. Present tense verb. Every time we use the word to, we always use the present tense verb. We never say to ate. We say to eat. So we have to use the present tense verb. So do you want to meet? Hal turidu an? Which one we'll be using? We'll be using the present tense verb. But of course, yuqabilu, it is what? Yuqabilu is he meets. How do you say you meet? You say tuqabilu, right? Tuqabilu. Tuqabilu. Make sense? So you say hal turidu an tuqabilu. But we have a problem. Before I do this one, what happens is that when you say tuqabilu, it means meet. How do you say meet him? Tuqabilu means you meet. How do you say you meet him? We add dhamir here. We say tuqabiluhu. Tuqabiluhu means that, yes. So this who is the object. Inshallah, this is also something that we have to spend a lot more time learning them. Hopefully, I think, I'm not sure if this book actually had a lot of exercise connecting the object pronouns or not, but I think we've been seeing it already. Of course, we always have a subject pronoun in the verb. We can also attach an object pronoun in the verb. So these are very cool, fancy stuffs in Arabic language. So we say tuqabiluhu. So that means you meet him. This whole thing means you meet him. So what we say here, we do the same thing. We add, and because we want to say, do you want to meet him? Hal turidu an tuqabilu hu. Okay. Right? So that's what we have. Hal turidu an tuqabilu hu. But we have a problem. Can you find the problem? I'll give you a hint. The problem is with the grammar. Everything else is fine. Only the grammar is a problem. And we discussed this issue before. Verb is not nasb. Excellent. So we need to, because we talked about when the an comes, it has impact on the verb. Right now, the verb is marfu. It has a dhamma. But when the an comes, it will make the verb into a mansub, a fatha. So we say an tuqabilahu. You get it? So this is what, if we wanted to say it like this, do you want to meet him? But here he's not using the verb. He's using this type of English. I want, or do you want meeting him? Here it would be he's saying, do you want meeting him? Because muqabala is the verbal noun of qabala. So we have qabala, yuqabilu, and what is the verbal noun? Muqabala. Okay, qabala, yuqabilu, muqabala. And anytime you have this type of verb, its verbal noun will have the same pattern. So, for example, shahada. Shahada. What is shahada? To watch something. Shahada. What is like you're watching TV, this type. And what is the present tense? Yushahidu. You yushahidu. You see, shahada yushahidu, qabala yuqabilu. You see the patterns? They have the pattern. So what do you think its verbal noun would be? Same thing. It would be shahada yushahidu, mushahada. Mushahada. Excellent. But that's one of the patterns. Remember, you were asking about if are all the verbs? No. If different types of verb, they have a different ways of making a verbal noun. We had taqaddama, we said taqaddum, takallama, takallum. And then we had qaddama, taqdim, allama, ta'lim. And we have another one is shahada, mushahada. Okay, anyway, these things right now, they're not trying to teach you these things. It's a little bit interesting, but it requires separate sections. But what the book always does is that they always introduce something that is, they make you a little bit familiar with the concept before they give you every rules. So right now I can sense that book is making you, at least trying to make you guys comfortable with verbal nouns. Start using the verbal nouns a lot. It has been using previously as well. So the muqabala is the verbal noun. So now my question to you is that what haraka does this ta gets? Muqabala, what is the on the top? Hal turidu muqabala? What should we put? So before you answer, you have to know what is the state, what is the grammatical place of this word. Yes, this is a nas. That means this is the object. So you want urid to read, just like what we mentioned. I want, what do you want? You can say I want water, I want, so I want meeting. So the meeting is the object. This is something that what you want. So here it would be a fatha. Hal turidu muqabalatahu. This fatha is coming because it's object, and this fatha is coming here because this, not because an object, because of the harful jar an. Anyway, as you can see, once we discuss grammar, it's fun, it's cool. I think you guys are definitely know a lot of things to have these kind of discussions. But otherwise, the reading is fairly simple. So that's why I'm spending a little bit time discussing some of these matters. So we have hal turidu muqabalatahu. Do you want meeting him? He's not saying, do you want to meet him? He's saying, do you want meeting him? And the answer, because we have hal, the answer he's using, na'am uridu muqabalatahu. You see, he added the fatha here. Now, yes, I want meeting him. Limada. Limada is like why. Okay, why? Then he said, li for uqaddima, so that what verb is this one? This is a qaddama verb. Okay, so qaddama. Present tense yuqaddimu, right? But he says uqaddimu, I am submitting. Okay, qaddam to submit, I am submitting. So we have li uqaddimu. So uqaddimu means I. Why do we have a fatha? This is also another thing the book is start showing you a lot, that the places when the present tense verb gets a fatha. One of them, I just mentioned the an. Every time you get an, uridu an something, then you say the present tense verb gets a fatha. Also, when we have a li, harful jar, li. So I'll talk about this. This is not the discussion for this level right now. This li, when it comes into a verb, it will also make the verb into fatha. But actually, I'll just quickly mention what happens is that actually the grammarian wants to say there is a hidden an here. Actually, this an is there because you can say li, you can say what? Li an. See, li an uqaddima. Uqad, uqaddima. See, the an is there, but sometimes what happens, some situation you can remove the an, like what he did. Sometimes the an is always hidden. So there's a lot of interesting discussion about this issue among the grammarians, and we'll learn them when we study grammar books. But something that just to note, because if I say that the li is making it mansub, then it probably not 100% accurate. But for this level, I think it's fine. You can just say because we have this li, it is making into a fatha. Li adhaba. Somebody asking, why are you getting up from your chair, for example, you can say li adhaba ila al masjid, so that I go to the masjid. The verb is adhabu, but you want to use this verb as a cause of something. So you say li adhaba. Okay, so it makes sense. So these things you will see. But right now, just get used to how it's being used. But the later, inshallah, we'll learn the rules, and then we can find out all these things about these grammatical things. So he says, so going back here, he says, limada, why? Li uqaddima, okay, lahu awraqi. So that I submit for him my papers. Here you can because of the li, you can say so that. Okay, so that I submit. Okay, so anytime you have that, the verb will get a fatha. So I submit awraqi, my papers. Then he says, Atamanna laka tawfiq. I hope for you success. Okay, tawfiq is a success. Atamanna, we had this verb also before. Atamanna is to hope. Then he says, Shukran. ولكن متى يحضر العميد إلى مكتبه. Shukran, he says, because he made a dua for him, then he says shukran, but he has something else to say. He says, ولكن, but متى يحضر العميد إلى مكتبه. When will the Amid be present in Hadara here? To be present, we know the Amid is the one which is subject here. When will the Amid be present? Ila maktabihi, in his office. Make sense? Then he says, fi as-sa'ati al-thaminati sabahan. At, fi here will translate as what? As at, because we're talking about time. As-sa'a thamina is 8 o'clock. What time? Sabahan, in the morning. 8 in the morning. So remember last time when we were talking about maf'ul fihi, al-dharf, al-zaman, same thing, we had it. Exactly same situation. As-sa'a, something, I don't remember what the time was, but let's say as-sa'a, al-thamina, then we had the sabahan, but we did not have the fi. So what was the i'rab? What was the situation here? We said because it was dharf, what we had here. If we remove the fa, do we have a sa'atu, a saminatu? Because there's no harful jar. The default is dhamma. So that's what we do. No, because why not? Because that time it will be treated as a dharf, maful fihi, a time. Remember we said when we talk about a time and place, we put a fatha. At that time, if you remove the fi, it gets a fatha. As-sa'ata, as-saminata, as-saminata, sabahan. You put back the fi, and then everything gets back to the kasra again. Make sense? Now, then Usama asked, وَأَيْنَ حُجْرَةُ الدِّرَاسَةِ? Where is the, the study room? للمستوى الابتدائي. للمستوى الابتدائي. So where is the room for the primary or beginner level? We had all of these words. ابتدائي, متوسط, متقدم. We had all of these words, right? في الطابق الثالث أيضا. Okay, in the third floor أيضا. أيضا is also. Okay, أيضا means also. We had them before as well. So Usama says, وكم عدد أيام الدراسة في الأسبوع? كم عدد, this expression we also learned. We know how to say كم. Here he's asking about the number. How many number of days? He's not saying how many days. If he says how many days, how many study days, he would have to say كم أياما. But he wants to know how many days of study. So he says كم عدد أيام الدراسة. How many days of study في الأسبوع. Okay, so you have to know this kind of expression. The book is trying a lot for you to understand different ways of asking about numbers. In English, oftentimes we will say how many books. Sometimes we'll say how many numbers of books do you have? It depends on how you ask. So basically, he's asking how many days we're studying in the week, and he answers خمسة أيام فقط, 5 days only. الخميس والجمعة عطلة. We had the same expression before. The Thursday, Khamis is Thursday, Jumu'ah is the Friday, is عطلة, is break or holiday. Then Usama says, Shukran lak ya Khalid. Khalid says, Afwan ya Usama. Okay, Shukran and Afwan. Simple stuff. Then the next tadrib we have at-tadrib al-sabi ashar, which is the 17th exercise, which is a Fahmul Masmu'. Fahmul Masmu' is a listening exercise, and we tend to skip them. We'll just quickly see if there's anything interesting here. في بداية فصل الشتاء, in the beginning of the season of winter, meaning winter season. Okay, shita is winter. لا قابل عميد المهدي فقط. So, what does it mean? La means no. If somebody asks the listening part was probably something about asking something. He asks some question, hal, because he's saying la or nam. Then he's saying qabala, he met Amid al-Mahdi faqat. He met the dean of the institution only. So probably he asked, did he meet someone else or not? We don't know the question, honestly. I'm just trying to here's all the levels here. We have the first one is al-ibtidai, al-mustawa, al-mustawa al-ibtidai, the first level or the beginner level. And then we have al-mustawa al-mutawassit, the middle or the intermediate level, and then we have al-mustawa al-mutaqaddim, the advanced level. Okay, so this is the this would be the first, this would be second, and this would be third. And these are the numbers. These things we also talked about last time when how do we make a nationality. So the country was Turkey. I'm not going to spend too much time here. Turkiya. Okay, the country was Turkiya, right? But how do you say Turkey? But how do you say Turkish? He's a Turkish. So we talked about this, that you have to remove the alif or ta marbuta from the end. Okay, we have to remove alif and ta marbuta from the end. Okay, and then we add, you add what? Any alif, ya, and everything. So we have to remove all of them. If it has alif, ya, ta marbuta, we need to remove them. And then we insert ya al-mushaddada, which is the ya of nisba. So we say Turki. Okay. Now, okay, so I think this is fine. I don't see anything else we have interesting going on. And then the last tadrib we have at tadrib al-thamin ashar, the 18th exercise, which is imla. We haven't done imla because we don't have the materials. Imla is writing. We always skip them. So that concludes our 26th lesson. Okay, inshallah, from next time we will start from the next lesson. So we'll stop here, inshallah.